sages, Vyasadeva, Narada and Dhritarashtra, Bhishma, and everything. So we will see that there are two essential themes of Srimad Bhagavatam. This is overall Srimad Bhagavatam, like listening to the stories about Krishna through unfolding our consciousness. The consciousness now which is focused in matter, it is absorbed matter. We want to turn it back to Krishna. So that is the essential theme, first theme, and second thing is give us rasa, the taste. So these are the two themes of overall Bhagavatam. Bhagavatam, Rasamalayam, Muraho, Rasika, Bhuvi Bhavika. And we have 10 topics of Bhagavatam that I will not elaborate. Eventually, in some of the discussions we'll take. And then we have the conclusion of the first chapter is that how Bhagavatam appeared, how it is directly Krishna himself. That is the first canto's part. And there are two themes of first canto, of course, three. The story, how the Bhagavatam appeared. Second is the quality of the listener, not the narrator. So that is how Parikshit Maharaj, because most of the chapters are explaining about Parikshit Maharaj. Sukadeva Goswami, about him, very few shlokas are there, but about Parikshit Maharaj, so much is there. Because it is very important what should be the qualification of the listener. So that's actually very much emphasized, because anyway, the person who is speaking, he is a listener also, because he learned and that's why he is able to speak. And the third important theme of first canto is the vices of Kali Yuga. And then the three prakaranas. Three prakaranam basically means three storylines. So first storyline is Sukadeva Goswami and the sage, Suta Goswami and the sage of Naimisharanya. It's a general introduction of the theme of Srimad Bhagavatam and brief retelling of Srimad Bhagavatam. So I will just go through the chapters also, so that you get an overall idea what is there in the first canto, and then we'll go shloka by shloka. And then we have the conversation between Vyasdeva and Narada Muni and birth of Srimad Bhagavatam. This is the second prakarana, the second storyline. And the third storyline is about Parikshit Maharaj. So it starts from 7th chapter till 19th it goes. So all the last 13 chapters is about Parikshit Maharaj and his meeting Sukadeva Goswami. And all these stories are essentially from different sides, describe the personality of Maharaj Parikshit, from what quality he came from. So what kind of he came from. So this is. So, and now we will just go through the, we will just start our reading of first shloka. So I will read some of the, I will read the shlokas, and some of the important shlokas we will be discussing a little elaborately, and otherwise we'll just read the purport. And if somebody has some something to share in this purports, they can share. So we will just now this first three shlokas, they are like Mangalacharan of Vyas Maharshi, first, second, and third. And after that, in this chapter, the question answers by the sages. And the second is a very important chapter where it tells about what exactly the fundamental principle, how the bhakti is developed. And most of the Bhagavatam is based on this understanding, how the bhakti is progressed from different stages, and it is nicely given. The example for that, the story starts of Narada Muni only, and then remaining all the stories are, that is like the basic fundamental principle. And the third chapter is like a trailer of whole Bhagavatam, because all the pastimes of the Lord are explained. It's like a trailer. And fourth, fifth, sixth, these three chapters is about birth of Srimad Bhagavatam. Vyas Maharshi was disappointed after writing so much of Vedic literature, and then he starts contemplating. Narada Muni comes and tells, better you write Srimad Bhagavatam, and Narada Muni gives his own life story. And from 7th onwards, a little bit of 7th is also the birth of Bhagavatam, and after that, 7th onwards, we have different personalities from Bhagavatam. First is Ashwathama, then Arjuna, Uttara. There is so much about how these people are surrendering to Krishna, away from Krishna. Then we have 8th is Kunti Maharani, 9th is Bhishma Dev, 10th and 11th is about the women of Hastinapur and Queen of Dwarka. And then we have 12th is birth of Parikshit, that is Dhritarashtra's living home. And after that, Krishna living to his abode. After that, Pandavas retiring timely. From that chapter onwards, it's all everything about Parikshit Maharaj and how he's punishing and rewarding Kali. So this is how the whole first canto goes. Now, this first three shlokas, they are very important, and especially first shloka. This is this word if you are seeing Satyam Param Dhimahi. So this is what we are meditating upon. Satyam is absolute truth. So we'll just read the shloka, and then we'll have reading of purports. Some of the purports will be homework where we feel that there is some things which are which can be understood easily, that you can take it as homework, and there will not be many homeworks, but some purports we may have to skip, and other purports we will take very elaborately. And somebody wants to discuss on anything, they can raise their hands and you can share your thoughts on some of these important purports. So these are first three shlokas. We have to memorize them. That's why we will be reading them. We may be discussing the word-to-word translation also. Very few shlokas we will do like that, where it is very essential. We feel that, and especially for first we will do, and then some shlokas we will tell that these are memorization shlokas, so you can mark it and you can start memorizing them. And who already read Prabhupada purports and they they already have, it will be a revision for them, and it's good in the morning time we can have reading of Prabhupada purports. And if you can just spend 2 hours every day morning, the rest of the day is yours. You can you can do your sadhana is done just in morning 2 hours. So we'll start. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Janmabhyasya Yatonmayaditaratas Chatvesha Vignaswarat Tene Brahma Hridayadikavaye Muhyanti Yatsuraya Tejo Varimudam Yata Vinimayo Yatra Trisargo Mrisha Dhamna Svena Sada Nirastahvaham Satyam Param Dhimahi. So I will just tell few words about it, then we'll go for word-to-word meaning. Mataji elaborate on it. So this Satyam Param Dhimahi, this is meditating on, Dhimahi means meditating on what? Satyam Param. Satyam Param means absolute truth. This is the main important theme of Bhagavatam. We have to meditate on the absolute truth, and that is Krishna. Now, how the absolute truth, which is unlimited, can fit in our tiny brain, which is not possible, but still is possible by Lord's mercy. So this is what it is explained, and like this is a very important uh, understanding of what is this absolute truth. There are 8 progressive and more complex concepts of absolute truth. Is explained by Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur. We will just briefly try to understand them. And another important about absolute truth, this Param Satyam Param, is that we will be Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur, he explains that people have a different understanding of what is truth, and there are so many misconceptions, and many are misconceptions. When people they read Bhagavatam, all their misconceptions they are gone. So slowly, which canto, which misconception is gone, and what is that pastime that helps him to overcome that understanding. So maybe briefly we will just take once we go through this word-to-word meaning and purport. And also the also there is another important thing, the essential lessons of the first canto, that also we'll be trying to discuss. And there are some other some relevant things about how should we hear Bhagavatam, and what is the form of Bhagavatam, what are the topics of Bhagavatam. So little bit about, maybe every day we can have 5 minutes about the structure of Bhagavatam. So first chapter we are discussing how this structure is. The structure is basically three prakaranas. Prakarana means plot, storyline, and then we have three important themes. Theme is birth of Bhagavatam. Then second part is about Parikshit Maharaj. Sorry, second is a qualification of hearer, is basically Parikshit Maharaj, and the third is about the Kali Yuga. So this, it will go parallelly in all the chapters. So this is basically the first canto. So we will hear the explanation about the word to word meaning. Mataji, you can explain the word to word meaning.
Hi Krishna. So actually, since we are starting ahead of Prabhuji, that's why only we are explaining this verse. And since this is the first verse of Bhagavatam, that's why also. So I will start. I'm just trying to explain this because it is a long verse and we have to memorize it. So if we can understand the meaning of the shloka well, then memorization also becomes easy. That is the reason I'm explaining this. So in case if you have any doubts anywhere, you can just raise your hands and ask. So I will start. So first we have to understand about, we just have to revise this concept about subject, verb and object. So we had studied in our English classes that how any simple sentence has subject, verb and object. So what is verb? Verb is the activity which is performed, and subject is the person performing that activity. And now who is the recipient of that activity will be the object. So example is Richa sat on the bed. So Richa becomes who? Richa becomes the verb. First we will find the verb. So verb is sitting. And then who is sitting? Richa. So Richa becomes the subject. And then who is the recipient of that activity? The bed. So the bed becomes the object. Similarly, for this Haripriya kicks the ball. This kick means kicking. Kicking is a verb. That is the activity. And who is doing that activity? Haripriya. So Haripriya becomes the subject. And now, who is the recipient of that activity? Who is being kicked? The ball. So ball becomes the object. So these three things, if we are clear with subject, verb, object, then we can move ahead in understanding the first shloka of Bhagavatam. So, so now to understand any shloka, what we have to do, there are three steps. First is we find the main verb, then we find like who is doing that action, who is doing that activity, and that person will be the subject. And the third is on whom that action is performed upon, or who is the recipient of that activity, and that will be the object. Okay, so verb, subject and object. Now we'll go to the shloka. So this is the shloka. And now the verb, if we see, what is the verb? So the verb here, main verb is dhimahi. And what does dhimahi means? Dhimahi means offering obeisances. So this is the main verb. So the first step we have done, which is identifying the verb. So dhimahi, we have identified it is the main verb. So dhimahi means offering obeisances. Now the second step is, what is the second step, Radha Kamal Prabhu? What did I tell?
It is object.
No, it is who is offering obeisances. It is who
Subject.
is performing that activity, subject. So that is the second step. Who is performing that activity? Who is offering obeisances? Okay. So that person will be the subject. Now, if we see the verse, actually in that verse, the subject has not been mentioned in the verse. So what do we assume? That the person who is writing that verse, who has written that verse, he has to be the subject. So who has written that verse? Srila Vyasdev. So Srila Vyasdev becomes the subject. So aham dhimahi. Srila Vyasdev is offering obeisances. So subject is aham and the verb is dhimahi. Then we go to the step 3. Now we have to find the object. So now Vyasdev is offering obeisances, but to whom? To whom is he offering the obeisances? Now that personality will be the object. So now this shloka we see, he is offering obeisances to Satyam Param. Satyam Param Dhimahi. So he is offering obeisances to Param Satyam. So Param Satyam is the object. But actually, we cannot have two objects. We can just have one object. So object is actually only one, Satyam. And what does Satyam mean? So Satyam, according to Srila Vishnu Jagat Thakur's commentary, he says Satyam means the Supreme Lord who exists in all time and space. So Satyam refers to the Supreme Lord or to Krishna. So Vyasdev is offering obeisances to Krishna. So this, so if object is Satyam, then what is Param? So Param is an adjective added to the object. So now we have done these 3 steps of finding the verb, finding the subject, and finding the object. So aham satyam dhimahi. Here dhimahi is the verb. Aham, which is Srila Vyasdev, he is the subject, and satyam, who is the Supreme Lord, he is the object. So aham satyam dhimahi. I offer my obeisances to the absolute truth, or I offer my obeisances to Krishna. So this is clear. Right, Radhakrishna Prabhu? Clear to you?
Yes.
Then what about the remaining part of the shloka? Now we just have done this much. Satyam Param Dhimahi. This is clear. This means I offer my obeisances to the absolute truth, or I offer my obeisances to Krishna. But what about the remaining part of the shloka? So the remaining words or phrases, they are either adjectives for the object or adjectives for the subject. Either of the two. But Radhakrishna Prabhu, what we don't have for this, what is not mentioned in the shloka? Object
About
or subject?
the subject.
Yeah, the subject is not mentioned in the shloka. But the object, which is the Supreme Lord, it is mentioned in the shloka. So all the remaining words or phrases will be adjectives for the object. So here subject is not there. So there are no adjectives for the subject. Therefore, remaining everything is adjective for the object. So now we have this, I have used different colors to show, like there are total 8 adjectives for the object, means for the Supreme Lord. So the first is this, Janmadi Asya Yato Anvayad Itaratasya, this word, this phrase, and then Artheso Abhigya, then Swarat, third one, then fourth is Tene Brahm Hridaya Adikavve, then fifth is Muhyanti Yat Surya, then sixth is Tejo Vari Mridam Yatha Vinimayo Yatati Shargo Amrisha. Seventh phrase, seventh adjective is Dhamna Swain Sada Nirasta Kuhakam. and the 8th adjective is param. So like that, we have total 8 adjectives for the object. So now we will try to understand the meaning of each phrase and each adjective. Okay. So the first one, Janmadi asya yato anvayat itaratascha. So now we are clear. Srila Vyasdev is offering obeisances to the absolute truth. I offer obeisances to the absolute truth. Now, who is that absolute truth? So the first quality of that absolute truth is that now this shloka says, Janmadi asya yato anvayad itaratasya. So asya. By asya, what do we mean? Asya means what is close to us. Anything which is close to us is called asya. So what is close to us is actually this material world. So this jagat, here asya refers to jagat. Then janmadi. So janma is creation and adi will refer to maintenance and destruction. So yata means who is the cause. So Supreme Personality of Godhead, the absolute truth, who is the cause for creation, maintenance and destruction of this material world. So I am offering obeisances to that Satyam, who is the cause of creation, maintenance and destruction of this material world. Okay, so Janmadi Asya Yato is done. Now Anvayat Itaratasya. Now he is the cause. Okay, Lord Krishna is the cause of creation, maintenance and destruction of all the material universes. But what kind of cause is he? So this is done. So what kind of cause? Then Anvayat Itaratasya. Both Upadan Karan and Nimit Karan. The Lord is both Upadan Karan and Nimit Karan. So now we will try to understand what is Upadan Karan and what is Nimit Karan. So when a pot is being made of mud, when a pot is being made of a mud, then the mud is Upadan Karan. Because that is the material used for making the pot. So mud becomes the Upadan Karan. And who is making that pot? That pot is being made by the potter. So potter becomes the Nimit Karan. So in this example, this mud, this Upadan Karan and Nimit Karan are different. Why different? Because the potter and the mud are different. Both are different. So this is the example of when both Upadan Karan and Nimit Karan are different. But when both Upadan Karan and Nimit Karan are the same, the example is given of a spider making a web. When a spider makes a web, then the material that spider uses to make that spider web is coming from him only. So, and who is making that web? Spider only. So the material used and spider is not different from spider, and spider is only making. So spider is both Upadan Karan as well as Nimit Karan. So similarly, the Supreme Lord is both the Upadan Karan as well as the Nimit Karan. So this is the meaning for this. Janmadi Asya Yato Anvayat Itaratasya. So I offer my obeisances to that Satyam, who is the cause of the creation, maintenance and destruction of this material world. And what kind of cause he is? He is both the material cause and the efficient cause. So this is clear to you, Prabhuji, Adhapraman Prabhu?
Yes.
So the second, now we move on to the second adjective, which is Artheshwa Abhigya. So Artheshwa Abhigya means he is the knower of everything. So Krishna knows everything. He is the past, present, future, about everyone, about all the purposes. He is the knower of everything. Then comes Swarat. So this is the third adjective. So Lord is fully independent. He is the cause of all causes, but he himself has no cause. So Swarat means fully independent. Then comes the fourth adjective, Tene Brahm Hridaya Adi Kavya. So this word, in this Brahma, this Brahm here, it means Vedas. And this Tene means revealed. So the Vedas were revealed, Hrida, in the heart, by that Satyam, to whom Adi Kavya. To Adi Kavya means the original being, which is Brahmaji. So Tene Brahm Hridaya Adi Kavya means that absolute truth. He revealed the Vedas. He revealed the Vedas to in the heart of Brahmaji. So this is the fourth one. So I offer my obeisances to that Satyam who is uh, uh, who revealed the Vedas in the heart of Brahmaji. And for similarly for these, I offer my obeisances to that Satyam who is the knower of everything. Then I offer my obeisances to that Satyam who is fully independent. I offer my obeisances to that Satyam who revealed the Vedas in the heart of Brahmaji. Then now, Muhyanti Yat Surya. This is again like Surya means great personality. So and Muhyanti means bewilder. And so I offer my obeisances to that Satyam who bewilders great personalities. So by seeing whom even great personalities get bewildered. Then comes this Tejo Vari Mridam Yatha Vinimayo Yat Trishargo Amrisha. So this phrase, what does it mean? So we will try to understand. Teja means fire, Vari means water, and Mridam means earth. So, and Yatha Vinimayo means the interchanging of properties of the above things out of illusion. So, like Teja Vari means fire is seen as water. So, example is of mirage, like in deserts or in very hot summers, because of the reflection of the light, we see water. So, in that case, it is said that fire becomes water. It is just an illusion. The mirage which we see, it is actually just light or fire, but we are seeing it as water. So that is Tejovari. Fire is looking like water. And then is Vari Mridam. Water looks like earth. So example is of ice. So ice is actually water. But because we have kept it in fridge, it looks like it is become solid and it looks like earth. But it is an illusion. It is actually water only. Very soon, if we take it out of the fridge, it will become water. So Tejo Vari Mrida. Tejo Vari Mrida means these things, there is this, because of illusion, we see an interchange of properties happening. Yat Shargo Amrisha. In the same way, people seeing Krishna's form, they think that his form is also like us. Out of illusion, they are thinking this, that Krishna's form is like us only. It is also made of Panchabhuta. Like us, it is similar to our form. But actually, it is not so. Only due to illusion are we seeing it like that. This is done. Then, Dhamana Swain, this is the seventh one. Dhamana Swain Sada Nirasta Kuhakam. So that Satyam, what he is doing, Nirasta Kuhakam, he is destroying the ignorance. When he is destroying the ignorance, Sada, or always, he's always destroying the ignorance. By what? By his own Swena, by his own influence, but Dhamna, his own influence, potency, and Dhamna can mean Sarup Shakti, his Leelas, his devotees, anything. So all along with all transcendental paraphernalia. So I offer my obeisances to that absolute truth who is always destroying the ignorance by his own influence. This is the 7th one. And the 8th and the last one is that I offer my obeisances to that supreme absolute truth, who is supreme to the highest limit, who is beyond all material things. So Param, that is the 8th adjective. So this is the final definition which we get when we combine all the explanations. And it is, let us meditate upon the absolute truth Krishna, who is the cause of creation, maintenance, and destruction of this universe. So this is Janma. Let us meditate upon the absolute truth Krishna is. What is it, Radhakrishna Prabhu? Satyam Dhimahi, right?
Yeah.
Then who is the cause of creation, maintenance, and destruction of this universe? This is Janmadi Asya Yato. And this as the material and efficient cause, Anvayat Itaratasya. Then since he is the only knower of all objects, Artheshwa Abhigya. Yes. And the only independent being, Swarat, who revealed the Vedas to Brahma within his mind. Tene Brahma Hridayadikavi. Yes. Who is difficult to understand even for the learned. Muhyantiyat Surya. Whose body is thought to be made of matter due to illusion, just as one mistakes fire, water, and earth for each other. Tejovari Mridam Yatavi. Yatra Trishargo Amrisha. And who negates all false arguments regarding his existence. Nirasta, what is this? Dhamana Swena Sada Nirasta Kuhaka. And this is regarding his existence by possessing a transcendental, inconceivable form and by the strength of devotees experiencing him through his Swarup Shakti. So, who negates all false arguments is Sada Nirasta Kuhakam, and this possessing by how he is negating is by his form, by the devotees and Swarup Shakti. So, this is all Dhamana. Okay? So, this is the explanation. And so now this shloka, the first shloka, now these 3 shlokas of Bhagavatam, they are Mangalacharan shlokas. And as we know that Mangalacharan has Vastu Nirdesh, Ashirvad and Namaskar. The first shloka is Namaskar. Here Vyasdev is offering obeisances to the Supreme Lord. So this is the Namaskar shloka of the Mangalacharan. So then again this shloka. So similarly, as we see, so now if we can just, if I will be sending this PDF, and if you all can just hear the recording once and just go through the PDF, then this will become very clear. And if you can understand the phrases clearly, then it will be very easy to memorize this verse also. So, Radhakrishna Prabhu, can you just once revise this whole thing, just how I explained? Yeah. So, Janma, so here we have understood like 3 things: verb, subject, and object. So the verb is here is offering obeisances, Dhimahi. And then we have the subject. Subject is Vyas Maharshi. His name is, he did not mention his name, but Aham Dhimahi. And then we have the object, it is Satyam. And then there is adjectives to this Satyam. First is here Param, and then we have Janmadi Yasya Yataha. So Janmadi means is Yataha, this material world, is maintenance, creation, and destruction. And Anvayad Itaratas. This Anvayad means directly and indirectly he is the cause of this material creation. And Abhignya Swarat. He is Abhignya, he is fully cognizant, and Swarat is fully independent. And Tene Brahma Hridaya Adikavya. This Brahma is Vedas, and he has revealed this Vedas to Adikavya Brahma. And Muhyanti Yat Surya. Great personalities are bewildered because of him. And how the example is Tejo Vari Mridamita Vinimayo Yatrat Sargo Mrisha.
So how we can see fire in water and land on water. So similarly, this they are kept into illusion. And dhamna svena sada nirasta kohakam. So he destroys, nihasta kohakam, destroys illusion through his own potency. And then we have param. This is the absolute satyam, truth.
Yes, so we are, I think the time is over now. So we will just finish this session, end this session here. So,
Yeah. Thank you all very much. We'll meet tomorrow. So we'll be discussing about different, how different paramparas, there is a discussion about the absolute truth. And then we'll go through the purport. And then we have some discussion. Thank you all very much. Hare Krishna.